and I found myself holding a live hand grenade, and I forgot what to do. I couldn't remember if it was thumb clip, pull pin, or pull pin, thumb clip. And chances are, whether you run your own business, manage a team, or simply manage yourself, you are always connected, you are always on call, you're always distracted. Mushin is the philosophy that powers that art of war. That's the clarity of the enlightened warrior. Think in your business or personal life. What's one hand grenade decision you're holding on to because you can't see good choices? Think about it for a minute. So here's the FBI agents. They're saying, Michael, you're a Marine veteran, you're a patriot, will you help us? So I picked up 2 marquee clients that dramatically impacted my bottom line and led to a whole bunch of other opportunities that I never could have imagined.
Michael Veltri is a nationally renowned best-selling author and entrepreneur, a cancer survivor, martial arts master, and United States Marine veteran. Michael has decoded a 5,000-year-old system for performance called the Mushin Way, based on the practices of ancient warriors and philosophers. Secret until now, Michael is going to share how we can use these time-tested techniques to perform at our best, deliver high-impact results with balance, not burnout, and drive transformation in our businesses and our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Veltri.
My first experience in working with elite, successful teams came when I was in the Marine Corps. And there came a time when I was training in the Marine Corps, and I found myself holding a live hand grenade, and I forgot what to do. I couldn't remember if it was thumb clip, pull pin, or pull pin, thumb clip. But I'm standing there holding a live hand grenade. Now, the Marine recruiter never told me about this. The Marine recruiter talked about travel to foreign and exotic lands. He talked about the glamour of the Marine Corps, of wearing the sharp dress blues uniform. And he talked about leadership, becoming a leader of Marines. He never said anything about having to hold and throw live hand grenades. So somehow I did manage to rip the pin out, and it's go time. You cannot put the pin back in a grenade once you've pulled it out. I'm sweating bullets. I am literally scared to death. I've got 30 of my Marine buddies watching to see if I'm going to screw this up and kill myself. I've got a Marine drill instructor right up in my face, purposefully screaming at me, causing fear, confusion, distracting me. And I've got a big decision to make here. 3 choices. Choice number 1, I make a good decision and choose to throw the hand grenade. Yet like any good decision, it has to be executed properly. Because what good is it if I don't throw it far enough, or at the right time, or in the right direction? Option number 2, I make a bad decision. I'm so overwhelmed by my fear, right? I am holding a live hand grenade with the pin out. Or my ego. I don't want to look bad in front of my Marine buddies. My fear and ego corrupt me. I make a bad decision, dropping the hand grenade, killing myself, killing and injuring my Marine buddies. And then there's always the 3rd choice, where I neither make a good decision and throw the hand grenade, nor make a bad decision and drop it and get rid of it. But I choose to make no decision. And I have to hold on to that hand grenade for the rest of my life. So you see, decisions in our business and life are like holding that hand grenade. You're either going to hold it, drop it, or throw it. And you guys know we surround ourselves with walls of distractions and to-do lists. And sometimes holding off and not making a decision feels like the safest thing to do. But we all know delay is increasingly expensive. Windows of opportunity open for us, yet they close even quicker in today's 24/7, 365, hyper-connected, hyper-distracted world that we live in. On average, how many times a day do you think busy professionals like us look at their smartphone? 50, 100 times? Yep. Who else? Be honest, let me see how many of you use your smartphone as an alarm clock each morning. I would make a great decision, and I couldn't put two and two together to pull it off, but I would make a horrible decision and execute it perfectly. Have you ever done that? I was working with a client of mine who said, Michael, forget about more with less. You can double my budget. I can't do more with more. So how can we make good decisions under those circumstances? The Mushin way shows us how. Say you get a 5-word text message from your boss or from your largest client. And that 5-word text message simply says, hey, we have to talk. You ever get one of those? Right? How many of you felt your heart rate spike just thinking of it? If you get that message from your boss, uh-oh, my commission plan changing, am I losing my job? Are we being bought? Are we being sold? What's going on? Or if you get that message from your largest client, do you start to worry, are they leaving me? Are they going to my competitor? The body's an amazing machine. The spirit is amazing. A few months after that, I was able to walk slowly. A few months after that, I was able to move a little quicker. I was able to jog. I was able to run. A few years later, I ran my first marathon on 1.5 lungs as a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. I can kick Debbie, I can stomp on Taylor, he can kick me, I can sue them, they can sue me, or we can tie them up and push them away, run to safety. Let's untangle here. We can move another way to tie them up and run to safety. We get tunnel vision. And in the Japanese martial art of Aikido, we are taught to expand our horizon to include the view of your opponent. That is a lesson that business people often try a lifetime unsuccessfully to learn. Because if you cannot see what your competition is seeing, you are eventually going to fail. But if you can see through your competition's eyes, if you can see through each other's eyes, if you can see through your spouse's eyes, you can first embrace and then overcome any challenge. That is true victory through harmony, because what is the opposite of we must win? The opposite is you're afraid. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid to look bad. You're afraid to try something new. You're afraid to innovate, and you are going to lose. Now, many of you know I lived in Japan for 10 years. Japan's a beautiful country. It's a country that's given us Zen meditation, elegant and graceful martial arts, and of course, everyone's favorite, karaoke. Modern Japan, however, has produced phenomena of overworked, hyper-connected, hyper-distracted worker bees called hatarakibachi in Japanese. And these worker bees, whether they're 25 or 65, are so connected, so stressed out, so distracted that they will literally work themselves to death. It's called karoshi in Japanese. And they will die at the office after an 18-hour marathon workfest, or on their 3 or 4 hour commute home or to the office. And the irony is, after I spent 10 mindful, beautiful years in Japan, not a part of that worker bee community, I left Japan to pursue my American dream, returned to America, and promptly created my own version of karoshi right here. I was literally working myself to death. You see, several years ago, I followed the common business advice of the day to pursue your passion. And I did. I left a very comfortable, a very secure, and very well-paying job in corporate America to start my own business, doing something I loved to do, I was good at doing, and I had fun doing. And I promptly started working longer and harder, with more effort, producing more mediocre results than I ever had in my entire life. This is how my day went. See if this sounds familiar. I'd wake up every morning at 5 or 5:30. My smartphone would be my alarm. I would start looking at my work emails, text messenger, calendar items. My heart rate would spike, worrying over what I just saw. I'd jump out of bed, get ready, get to the office, and then like a hamster on the wheel, I was always running. I was always reactive, barely keeping my head above water, fending off 100 distracting messages at once. And chances are, whether you run your own business, manage a team, or simply manage yourself, you are always connected, you are always on call, you're always distracted. How can we win this losing battle against distractions, continue to be productive at work, meet all of our demands, get back to our clients immediately, follow up with our boss, follow up with our family, and be successful and productive with balance, not burnout? Well, the Japanese have a word, a concept called mushin. And this word mushin literally means no mind. But I'd like you to think of it as no distractions or clarity. And this concept of mushin was developed hundreds of years ago on the feudal battlefields where the samurai warriors weren't texting, they were fighting to the death with razor-sharp swords. Forget about seconds. Life or death for them was decided in milliseconds. The samurai warriors couldn't be distracted. They had to clear their mind. And this practice of mushin frees the mind from the shackles of fear and ego, frees the mind from the shackles of guilt and obligation, frees the mind of distractions. So the mind becomes calm and clear and reflective like a calm body of water, polished to a mirror reflection. You can simply see each and every situation for what it is, unencumbered by these shackles. From there, you can make the right decision at the right time, all of the time. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the best-selling book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It talks about wonderful strategies and tactics, especially how to apply them in the business world. Mushin is the philosophy that powers that art of war. That's the clarity of the enlightened warrior. Well, here's my first Mushin way, peak performance lesson that I want to share with you today. And that is, even though you can't see them, you always have great choices. Even though you can't see them, you always have great choices. Well, not too long ago, in my business life, I was faced with a really tough situation. You see, I own and operate one of the largest martial arts academies on the East Coast, in Washington, D.C., a few blocks from the White House. And among my adult students are the political rock stars of the area. I have members of Congress, members of various presidential administrations as my students, lawyers and lobbyists, business people, and a bunch of foreign diplomats. Now, not too long ago, I had a Russian diplomat come and take my adult intro program. Real nice guy, did great in the first class. He was coming back for his second class. But the next day, there was a knock on my door. And that knock was from the FBI. From the FBI Counterintelligence Division. Now, it turns out that this Russian diplomat, his job was to sit at the big Russian embassy in D.C. and intercept our U.S. signals and try to break our codes. In other words, he was a spy. A spy, yes. Can you believe that? And it turns out that he rarely left the embassy. The embassy is self-sufficient. The diplomats work there, live there. The kids go to school there. The only time this fellow would leave would be to run down the street to the Whole Foods grocery store and come back. He didn't go out and socialize. He didn't go out to dinner or out on dates. The only time he decided to leave the embassy for any amount of time was to come train at my martial arts academy. So here's the FBI agents. They're saying, Michael, you're a Marine veteran, you're a patriot. Will you help us? Can you do anything within your power to make sure he joins? Even give him a scholarship. We'll pay you on the back end to compensate for you. Make sure he joins. And then we're going to plant some of our young FBI agents to go through your introductory program with him. We're going to befriend him, and maybe we'll try and get him to go out for drinks. And then we're going to try and turn him. Try and get him to spy for us. Will you help us? I mean, if you've ever watched the TV show The Americans, this was straight out of The Americans. So here I am thinking, okay, wait a minute. I got to betray the trust of my student for these guys? I got to lie to my students, pretend I'm something I'm not, or lie to my staff, or if I need to get my staff involved, have them lie to everybody? Or what if I say no? And then what's going to happen? Am I going to be worrying that they're secretly going to infiltrate my class? Or is the IRS going to knock on my door the next day and give me 10, 15 years of audits? This was horrible. I didn't think I had a good choice, but I did. And I'd like you all to pause and think right now. I know you're facing similar situations. Think in your business or personal life. What's one hand grenade decision you're holding on to because you can't see good choices? Think about it for a minute. So I knew I was faced with a really big hand grenade decision, and I needed to talk to someone else besides these two young guys. So I said, gentlemen, I'm sure you understand this is a huge decision for me. I'd like to talk to your boss. They said, fine, Michael, okay. The FBI headquarters actually is not too far from my academy also. So there I am at the FBI headquarters, and I'm meeting with these gentlemen's boss. He's a man closer to my age. He was also a Marine veteran. Now, we didn't know each other in the Marine Corps, but there was a relatability, and we started talking. I explained to him about the Japanese martial art of Aikido, how I not only teach the physical side, but also the leadership development side to my students. And he started thinking, and then he made a suggestion. He said, well, forget about that Russian spy, that diplomat. We'll work on him later. I see a bigger opportunity here. Would you like to come and teach our staff? That's something I didn't see coming. What that turned out to was me teaching at an elite intelligence facility called the National Counterterrorism Center. The NCTC, the National Counterterrorism Center, was created after September 11th. And this group, you've all heard of the tip of the spear? Well, the NCTC is the razor-sharp edge of the tip of the spear. It's made up of elite FBI agents, CIA officers, and military special forces. And so I got a brand new gig teaching at this great organization, not only the martial arts side, but also the leadership development side. That led to me getting another great marquee client, the CIA headquarters. So I picked up two marquee clients that dramatically impacted my bottom line and led to a whole bunch of other opportunities that I never could have imagined, just because it allowed me to uncover those hidden great decisions that are always there. The Mushin Way provides access to that clarity of the enlightened warrior. We have to exercise our Mushin muscle. And like any new exercise, the more you do it, the better you get. We lift 5 Mushin Way pounds, exercise that muscle, then 10, then 15. Next thing you know, you're bench pressing 300 Mushin Way pounds. It's a practice. Because you guys know, when we are faced with those hand grenade decisions, we often attach more and more fear and ego to the point of paralysis. But when you pause to stop and think, where are my strengths holding me back? Where are the great decisions that I cannot see? I know they're there. And that true victory is achieved through harmony. You are juggling hand grenade decisions, not holding them, throwing them the right time, the right direction all the time, but especially when the pace is fast and the stakes are high. That achieves a level of peak performance with balance, not burnout. And that is the power, that is the promise, that is the practice of the Mushin Way. Thank you very much.